It's 2020 all over again in the Philippines. More than a year after the pandemic began, cases are surging at unprecedented, alarming levels. Since March 19, 2021, the Health Department has been reporting more than 5,000 new cases of COVID-19 daily. On Friday, March 26, new cases reached 9,838 and are still rising. Experts project that by the end of March, cases can soar to more than 10,000 daily. While other countries are slowly going back to normal, the Philippines seems to be worse off than ever. What went wrong with President Rodrigo Duterte's pandemic response? Let's rewind.
Hindi nga natin alam yung coronavirus na yan.
As early as February 2020, the president himself downplayed the effects of the coronavirus.
There's nothing really to be extra scared of that coronavirus thing. One or two in any country is not really that fearsome.
He even rejected calls for the suspension of flights from China.
Sabihin, magtanong kayo kung I will bar the Chinese from entering. The answer, of course, is no. Stop this xenophobia thing.
Fast forward to today, a year later, more than 13,000 Filipinos died of COVID-19.
Maliit na bagay ito sa buhay natin. Marami tayong dinaanan, mas grabe, mas mahirap, mas na magluluha ngayon.
As of January 2021, 4 million Filipinos are jobless. In Metro Manila alone, 3.2 million Filipinos, or 1 in every 4 Filipinos, are hungry. Our gross domestic product has fallen by 9.5% in 2020, the worst contraction since World War II. Despite this, the Philippine government is all praises for its pandemic response.
We were excellent. Na-control po natin ang pagkalat ng sakit, lalong-lalo na kung ikukumpira tayo sa mas mayayaman at mga bansa na mas mararami at mas moderno mga hospital.
But the reality on the ground is different. Hospitals are already hitting full capacity. In Metro Manila, 7 out of 10 in the 802 intensive care beds for COVID-19 patients are occupied.
Lockdown is still an option. Kung umabot tayo sa punto that the healthcare system is really overwhelmed beyond its capacity to effectively address the COVID-19 cases.
Economic experts say the government may have reopened the economy too quickly. This despite no mass testing efforts from the government. Private employers were forced to shoulder the costs of swab testing for their workers just so their businesses could operate again.
I have to reopen the economy. We cannot forever be in the strict protocols because we have to open the economy. People are hungry. People have to work, to eat, to survive.
Because of this, local governments relaxed quarantine rules to encourage people to spend so that the economy will recover. With this messaging from the government, people began to go out more often. When the cases surged again, the government eventually blamed the public.
The underlying cause of why cases are increasing are because of the non-compliance to the health protocols that we have.
But a social weather station survey says almost 8 in 10 Filipinos obey rules that require wearing masks in public. 7 in 10 Filipinos also say they frequently wash their hands, while 6 in every 10 Filipinos follow social distancing. In fact, obedience is high in COVID-19 hotspots such as Metro Manila and Cebu.
Let's stop blaming the people. They're doing everything they can to comply. Kaya lang, we force them into crowds, di ba? We force them into enclosed space. We force them into situations where they cannot follow those 4 rules, yung 4 dapat.
Even so, how can the government expect the public to strictly follow health protocols when top government officials themselves are breaking the rules? Remember PNP Chief de Bolsina's Mañanita fiasco? Remember when presidential spokesperson Harry Roque became the subject of memes when he visited a resort when it was prohibited? Remember when contact tracing czar Benjamin Magalong attended Tim Yap's party in Baguio City where health protocols were violated? Speaking of contact tracing, the government this month just came up with a standard contact tracing system through the Stay Safe app nationwide, at a time when cases already reached alarming levels.
Report your health condition by answering the checklist on the app.
It's a year too late. Now, the Department of Interior and local government is telling LGUs to drop their own contact tracing systems. But do these contact tracing systems really work? Magalong himself admits contact tracing is the government's weakest point in its pandemic response. By now, other countries are already halfway through their vaccination programs. In Southeast Asia, the Philippines is the last country to kick off, all thanks to the delays in orders and vague timelines of vaccine arrivals. So far, 76% of the 1.125 million doses of donated vaccines have already been deployed. Only around 11,000 healthcare workers are vaccinated per day. At this rate, Senator Ping Lacson calculates that the goal to vaccinate 70 million Filipinos by year-end will have to stretch to almost 12 years. The challenge for the government is not only to secure enough supplies of the vaccines, but also to convince Filipinos to take the jabs amid low vaccine trust. Now, Metro Manila and 4 nearby provinces, what the government calls the NCR Plus, are again placed under a stricter general community quarantine or GCQ until April 4. Experts also propose a circuit breaker lockdown, a hard GCQ, or a soft MECQ, whatever those terms mean. But these are only making Filipinos even more confused. What's clear is that the people need more urgency, compassion, and accountability from the government during this pandemic. But that's wishful thinking. From the looks of it, it's 2020 all over again.